Compliments of the season and a warm welcome to Aviation this week on Channels Television. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi. Domestic passenger surge is most times a regular occurrence during the festive period, and 2022 did not disappoint. This time, it came with the usual delays and cancellations amidst the scarcity of Jet A1 for airline operations in Nigeria. That's where we take off on the program. Plus, 2022 highlights of the aviation sector. Our flight is airborne. The Yuletide season usually sees a surge in passenger traffic, and that's the situation at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. For some passengers, the chaos is unimaginable.
It's always high, it's expected now. There are a lot of people traveling, so the fare is high. So long as it take me where I'm going safely, I'm okay. But the fare is still high. At least from next year they should reduce it. Actually, my flight was supposed to be by 10:35 this morning, and yesterday I got an email that it's meant to be for 12:35 now, so 2 hours flight delay.
The travelers are overwhelmed, and there's a high level of aggression and shouting and screaming and all that kind of thing. So it's on one side exciting and another side so mind disturbing. Why would it be the case, you know? Could it be better organized so that the travelers will also feel a little bit stressed and the workers also a little bit stressed? But all the same, it's part of the festivity.
In Lagos, the Muritala Mohammed Airport 2 board shows the upsurge in airline services as an average of 60 flights is due to operate in a day, and passenger numbers is also on the rise.
It's been wonderful, and we're actually winning the trust of our customers as time passes. Understand what people are actually going through at the moment. So we've provided very competitive fares. We've also introduced additional flights to places we expect traffic, massive traffic from. So we're actually doing well at the moment. For us, we're doing about 90% now at the moment. So we're introducing additional flights to cater to any eventualities.
The General Aviation Terminal is also full. One thing apparent in both terminals is the long delay owing to aviation fuel scarcity, which still bites hard. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has asked pilots and airline operators to exercise caution over hazardous weather associated with the dry season. The warning is contained in an advisory circular sequel to the season climate prediction issued by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, which has reported there will be a cessation of rainfall and weather associated with the dry season in Nigeria from late December 2022 to March and April 2023. Weather-related flight cancellations and delays that snarled U.S. commercial air traffic over the holiday weekend dragged on through Monday the 26th of December, with Southwest Airlines accounting for the bulk of the lingering disruptions a day after Christmas. More than 3,800 U.S. airline flights were cancelled on Monday, including 2,800 operated by Southwest, or nearly 70% of the carrier's total schedule for the day. Delays were reported for over 7,000 U.S. flight departures and arrivals overall, with several hundreds by Southwest. The Dallas-based airline, one of the world's largest low-cost carriers, said it anticipated that disruptions will continue in the days heading into the New Year holiday travel period at the end of the week.
We've never experienced anything like it. I guess I'm not going to ever fly a flight that flies through Chicago during the winter.
It's never like this crowded. It's crazy.
The U.S. Transportation Department said late on Monday it would examine the large number of Southwest Airlines cancelled and delayed flights in recent days to determine if they were in the airline's control, calling them unacceptable.
It's been catastrophic. It's been a failure at every level. Our processes, our IT, our infrastructure just wasn't there to support the operation. And unfortunately, our customers are bearing the brunt of it. We have pilots, we have flight attendants who don't have hotels, who they truly just don't know where they are.
Commercial airline traffic has been upended since last week as an Arctic blast, coupled with a massive winter storm dubbed Elliott, took shape over the Midwest and swept over much of the United States in the lead up to the Christmas holiday weekend. The resulting surge in cancellations and delays, coupled with long lines and missing luggage at airports, spoiled wintertime vacation plans for countless U.S. airline customers during one of the busiest travel periods of the year. In March 2022, the new Terminal 2 of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport is commissioned for use by President Muhammadu Buhari. In many ways, a modern airport operates like a city. A governing body provides strategic direction and oversees day-to-day management. Airports also provide the resources necessary to care for a fleet of commercial aircraft. Airlines need space for airplanes, facilities for routine maintenance, jet fuel, and places for passengers and flight crew while on the ground. Air freight companies also need space for loading and unloading cargo. Airplanes and pilots and other crew members need runways as well as receive air traffic information. Facilities for aircraft storage and maintenance and places to relax must also be available while on the ground. 9 years ago, Nigeria began the drive to achieve world-class status in its airport infrastructure when it got a $500 million boost via a loan from China to help pay for 4 international airport terminals and an additional airport in Enugu. While those of Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja and Port Harcourt International Airport, Rivers State has been completed and operating, it's now the turn of Lagos.
It's an addition to the old terminal. You know, the old terminal is overstretched already, capacity. So we're going to move some of them to this place. Most importantly, it will ease the stress of congestion that we were having at the former terminal. That's our Terminal 1, but this is Terminal 2. This is a world-class facility. It has everything a modern airport has. And the passenger facilitation flow is seamless with modern equipment, self-check kiosk.
The new terminal is an all-glass edifice on the right side inwards the old terminal.
Aviation provides the only rapid worldwide transportation network, which makes it essential and most important infrastructure for global logistical ecosystem. It boosts economic growth, creates jobs, and facilitates international trade, commerce, and tourism, ultimately raising the standards of living of the teeming population. Aviation remains the only medium to achieving continental integration and interaction, the dream of the African Union Agenda 2063. A recent aviation sector study for Nigeria by International Air Transport Association IATA in June 2020 showcases the significant contribution of air transportation to the national economy through providing 241,000 jobs, direct and indirect, and a contribution of 1.7 billion to the national economy.
With a capacity to process 14 million passengers per annum and built on a landmass of approximately 56,000 square meters, President Muhammadu Buhari does the honors. At the ceremony, the authority did sign a memorandum of understanding with the Lagos State government.
It's about opening up the international corridor of our country and making Nigeria truly, really accessible to the entire world. This is our international gateway. This is where Nigeria meets the international community, and you have given this for us here today. And FAN, representing the Ministry of Aviation, is also something that we are truly, truly, really proud and happy to also be part of. Because what we're about to do is about opening up, other alternative routes that will bring people onto this airport, that will make communication and that will make journey time into this airport, an experience that will be delightful and it will be enjoyable to each and every one of us.
This terminal in Lagos comes with 5 baggage collection carousels, 16 immigration desks at arrival, 28 immigration desks at departure, 6 passenger boarding bridges, of which 2 has already been installed, visa on arrival and port L facilities, among others. Putting together the terminal also came at a cost, as the Lagos office of the Accident Investigation Bureau had to give way in order to expand the apron.
This is what the domestic runway looked like in July 2022 as rehabilitation work commenced and local flights had to taxi to the international airport to take off, a decision the helmsman of FAN said was critical.
To all our stakeholders, the airlines, a lot happened and you bore with us through this difficult time. In fact, it was so bad that after almost 15 years, people were tending to believe the status quo should maintain. We had to push and annoy some stakeholders to close this runway so that we can make it back to operation 100%. We thank them for their understanding and support. It is very important.
About 4 months after, the airside here is packed and busy as aircraft land and also take off.
It's a blessing because it's going to reduce the cost of operation in the airlines, because now we have to land, before we have to land at the international runway, what they want it right, and then you taxi for minimum 10 minutes, because remember, when you're taxiing, and especially in the evenings when the international airlines are going out, you have to stay, sometimes you have to hold for them to come out and go, so you probably spend easy 15-20 minutes taxiing, and you can imagine how much it will cost running your engines for 15-20 minutes. So there's a lot of, apart from burning fuel, there's a lot of wear and tear on your brakes, on your tires, a lot of cycles, hours that you put on the airframe and everything. So of course, it's a blessing for us.
The rehabilitation done and dusted, the 2.7 kilometer long runway, 18L 36 hours approach lights, runway lights are working after 14 years of neglect.
Over the last 14 years minimum, a major component of that complement, and that is the 1/8 left airfield lighting, was down and deficient for over 14 years. This made the airport lose a very important part of its functions, versatility and efficiency. We have delivered on yet another very critical milestone. It's not an easy milestone. Achievements come and go, but I believe in aviation, no achievement comes bigger or better than enhancing your airfield capability. This MMA airport, Murtala Muhammad Airport, was conceived and developed with a full complement of landside and airside facilities to ensure operational flexibility, versatility, and efficiency in the interest of safety and security and our own compliance with the standard and the recommended practices.
It took the agency over 120 days to reopen the facility for use. After the installation of the new aids, the runway would operate both sunrise and sunset flights, which would further ease the burden of operators.
Also in the year, the Accident Investigation Bureau Nigeria transformed into a multimodal transport accident investigation agency. With its new status, the Bureau can now investigate serious incidents and accidents in the aviation industry, maritime, rail, and road, following the repeal of the AIB Act. The Bureau has assumed a new nomenclature, the National Safety Investigation Bureau, following the new NSIB Act 2022 signed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari. the issue of the consistent increase in the price of Jet A1 in the country. The Nigerian aviation sector spent over $192 billion in 2022 on aviation fuel alone. That's from a report by Phillips Consulting Limited. According to the report titled Nigeria's Aviation Industry Customer Satisfactory Survey Report, in the first 6 months of 2022, jet fuel price rose by 70%. The report noted that the figure indicated one of the steepest jump in jet fuel since the year.
Aviation is the backbone of the economy, movement of passengers and cargo. Now the airlines is finding it very difficult because of the fuel prices. You can't imagine between January to date, aviation fuel price have been increased 10 times. It's just impossible for the airlines to survive. Well, maybe at some stage we'll be talking about co-sharing, which is very complicated and it can't happen overnight.
I think it has started coming down a little bit lower, the crude oil prices. And you know it's a derivative of the crude oil, so it's coming down. But you know the world is in a very funny situation, or sad situation, with Russia and Ukraine situation and all whatnot. So a lot of factors beyond us in Nigeria is part of it. But I'm sure the authorities, the airlines, and all the people concerned know the importance on what to do, and they're working on it. It's sad, it's unfortunate, but what can we do? We have to live with it for the time being. But I'm sure, like any other thing, we'll get out of it.
It also said that the increased fuel price represented a significant challenge for the airlines in the first 6 months of 2022. Fuel is the industry's largest cost item, accounting for about 40% of airline operations. Nigeria's defunct national carrier Nigeria Airways was founded in 1958 after the dissolution of West African Airways Corporation. At that time, the government of Nigeria owned a majority of the airline, 51%, until 1961 when it boosted its shareholding in the company to 100%. The carrier held the name Nigeria Airways until it ceased operations in 2003.
Nigeria Airways, if you guys can remember it, wasn't anything like the airline it turned out to be towards the end of its lifespan. Nigeria Airways was actually a fantastic airline. I don't know whether some of you know that it was a fantastic airline with a reputation as solid as any airline right now, like the Ethiopians of this world. It was a solid, super airline. It was the first to land an aircraft, a Boeing 707 in JFK, as far back as the early 70s, with a completely black cockpit crew.
A former managing director of the airline and also former Minister of Aviation, retired Air Vice Marshal Antonio Perez, says the airline should never have been liquidated.
Nigeria Airways shouldn't have died. As far as I'm concerned, and I still stand by my word, Nigeria Airways shouldn't have died. Good enough, they had a probe, and I'm sure you are aware of the probe, the white paper that was sent. They knew all the people that brought Nigeria Airways to its knees. And when Nigeria Airways was sold off, all the workers were left in the lurch. They were not paid their pension gratuity. A lot of them died even before the President Buhari came and decided to pay.
After 19 years, the nation is introducing a new national carrier, Nigerian Air. The carrier's first public announcement was at the 2018 Farnborough Air Show in the United Kingdom. Over the past 4 years, the airline has slowly gained traction and hopes to launch operations in December 2022. The new carrier has 46% belonging to Nigerian investors, 5% for the federal government, and 49% stake for Ethiopian Airlines. This take by Africa's biggest carrier is a cause of rumble in Nigeria's aviation sector. Domestic carriers are not on the same page with aviation ministry authorities.
Ethiopia met APIS, took us to Addis Ababa, gave us red carpet reception, signed MOU with APIS, a commercial agreement saying that they would like us to collaborate. We agreed, we signed. Then 3 weeks later, for us to come back to Nigeria with them and now go into technical details of what this will entail. And what they did is here, it's in writing. I'm not saying hearsay. I want any Nigerian to beat my patriotism. I asked the question, why do you want to use me to access the whole world and access Nigerian market?
The former managing director of Nigeria Airways is of the view that this new carrier is coming too late in this administration.
This administration winds up in March, or let me say March. The moment the election is over, it's over. What is the guarantee that the people coming in will continue? What briefing have they given to everybody in the country to know it? Even in the aviation industry, has the country been carried along? This is what we want to do. Okay, Ethiopian Airlines. Well, what are the terms? Everybody needs to know what is going on so that when this administration winds up, people coming in should say, well, this was what we were told. Are we following?
For the federal government, this partnership with Ethiopian is essential to ensuring Nigerian air takes off promptly.
Having a very strong airline that is able to bring people from far and near into the country is extremely important in the scheme of things. And eventually now we have a bidder. Some say also there is a problem with the Ethiopian. There will have to be, in the structure of government, there will have to be a partnership with one strong airline or another. And I think I think Nigeria is even lucky that we are having Ethiopian to partner with us because they are African airline. And with it, yes, I am saying because this is within the spirit. I am saying it boldly. I am putting on record in this house, in this people's house, I am putting on record that I'm bold to say, I'm proud to say that I'm partnering with an African.
For Nigeria's first indigenous pilot, Captain Bob Hayes, a new national carrier is most welcome.
I think it's commendable because we were very, very sad indeed when we lost Nigeria Airways. But now that it is being mooted or is being proposed to set up a new airline, I think this is one of the best things that will happen for the country. Most countries in Africa have national carriers, and I think it's about time. Nigeria, the big country in Black Africa, should of course take its lead.
Ethiopian Airline remains an economic rival to Nigeria, so the idea that its flagship carrier would control 49% of Nigeria's national carrier is disturbing to many Nigerians. The share would increase Ethiopian Airlines' influence, allowing a rival nation and airline to significantly benefit from Nigeria Air's success. So unless the Nigerian government makes significant changes to its plan for the startup, Ethiopian may be in for a good ride in Nigeria. Flying may not be all plain sailing, but the fun of it is worth the price. This is where we wind down on this edition. From the team here, it's season's greetings and a prosperous 2023 ahead. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi.